Gentlemen, it is 7 o'clock. I call this meeting of the General Government and Public Safety Committee to order. You rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You guys should slow down a little bit for us to say disabled people. We can't get up so fast.
Next on the agenda is comments from citizens. Hearing none, I close that section. Moving on to General Government and Finance, Economic Development and Credit Report. The meeting minutes are in your packet. Tonight we also had the wine and cheese social at Ford Chevrolet.
How was that?
Mine was pretty good.
That was the cheese.
The cheese wasn't bad either.
That was pretty good too.
Yeah, some of that was made by Catherine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or Pat Olson.
Yeah.
Yes, by Pat Olson. Her husband actually drinking wine.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Talk about driving after drinking.
Anything on the credit report?
You got a copy of the minutes?
That's what I said.
And they introduced their new director, who I believe will be coming down to the Ready meeting in Columbia tomorrow. I'm going to meet, and I'll introduce him to Bernie and Mike Brooks, and get to know Ron Siebert, who is also working on an entrepreneurship program that we may be able to take advantage of here. And
Okay, great.
there'll be a future credit program in there somewhere.
And on occasion, he'll be attending this meeting to give the credit report.
Yeah, just like we were used to.
Part 4.
Uh,
Oh, go ahead.
Under economic development, I should note that I've been visited by Jack Chance, and they are working on next year's Civil War reenactment event. And of course, that's sort of a bootstrap of activity, or always short of funds to accomplish that. I assured him that we would be able to cooperate with use of city employees for some of the setup and things of that nature where necessary. In-kind services. I didn't volunteer Larry's people, but I suspect that you and Larry may want to get together and discuss that, and how, since some of it's going to be out at the battlefield, there's limited things we can do.
Right.
But we do what we can. We're likely to get a request for money too, and you should be thinking about that in terms of developing next year's budget.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else on economic development?
Might as well mention that there was sent out right at the close of business an agenda for tomorrow night. You can treat it as a recess meeting if you wish. It follows on the topic of economic development, and we will be addressing an industrial prospect that has met with several people on the board or with Credit, and has been looking for a site along the rail tracks, preferably coal. If they have secured some sort of option or ownership or commitment to a particular piece of property, then they will be looking at a full-blown series of contracts and grant requests with various government agencies, and they have requested a chance to meet with us tomorrow night. Some of that will be open information because it'll be part of grant applications. Some of it will be proprietary. Some will involve dealing with property transfers, ownership of property that might be useful as the site for this particular, it is in the industrial. They've looked at several properties and they'll have narrowed it down, I hope, by tomorrow night. So there'll be an open session where they'll do some description of the project, and then we'll go into closed session to discuss some decisions that need to be made about property ownership and lease arrangements and that sort of thing. And they may also do some discussion of their process, and that will involve things that are proprietary and patentable, and that is another item that under the open meetings and records law can be discussed in a closed session. I do not anticipate any action resulting immediately from tomorrow night's meeting, but everybody needs to be brought up to speed, because if things fall into place on their part, then there will need to be some letters of intent and some decisions made within the next week following.
Okay.
So stay tuned. It's
Developing.
not like a, well, it's encouraging. It's a business that could grow, and it has lots of nice aspects to it. And will do us good. And it would enable us to be cooperative with some other governments already.
All right.
Moving on to park board. We have meeting agenda and minutes in your packet.
Yes.
Any questions? Hearing none, moving on to the cemetery report. Anything, Lynn?
No, I got so busy I didn't help them take down the flags. I hope they managed to get them down.
They were supposed to do that at,
3.
well, I think they changed it to 10 this morning. There's only 26 flags up.
It was
so,
done this morning sometime.
Yeah.
Tree board, there's nothing in our packet. Do you have anything, Lynn?
Nothing.
Okay. Moving to the library board, you'll see that's the agenda in your packet. Any questions? Moving on to October financial statements, that information is in your packet.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go back to the library board real quick. I just noticed that a board member resigned, so I'll be looking for a replacement for that board member.
Oh.
So,
On the library.
yeah. Except it's online, accept resignation of board member Russ Chrisman. I guess he moved out of the district, so he had to resign. So if anybody knows anybody that's interested on for the library board, please let me know. And I'll be talking to Angie and some other people also. I'll have something for next week,
Are you looking to make the appointment next week?
hopefully.
October financial statements, any questions? Hearing none, moving on to bills over $1,250. Any questions? Hearing none. Other general government, employee health insurance.
Briefly, we have some quotes from United Healthcare as an option compared to Anthem. I do not have Anthem's quote for an ACA compliant policy, as opposed to just going with renewal early and taking an 8% increase. I'm still waiting for Anthem, I'm still waiting for Coventry. I do know that there are plans out there that are semi-comparable, that are ACA compliant, that will meet our needs and should be cheaper. But there's some trade-offs on what the coverage involves. And I hope that some of the others will be cheaper and not as drastic a cut in, for instance, deductibles or college insurance requirements and things like that. Mike over at Angels is getting me that information just as soon as he gets it from those people. And I will be consulting with the union when I do get them. So I'm no longer frightened about what is available out there, but I want to get the best coverage for our people and still stay below what we're paying now, if possible. Certainly don't want to pay any more, and now I know we don't have to pay more for a decent plan.
Public safety, city prosecutor. Any report? No, okay.
No.
Fire department, activity report, information's in your packet. Any questions?
Just a clarification here. You have two alarms on there, CO2. It's CO.
Probably so. Having a tactical area.
How are the EMS calls? We got 28 EMS calls
It's every day, Centralia.
every day. Everybody responding to those okay and taking care of people?
Working up fine.
All right,
Just a whole lot of them for a low time.
all right, thank you.
Do you have anything else for fire department?
Now, get ready to work on the Christmas thing, trees for sailing and stuff like that, get ready to work all that. We'll get our bids from the stores.
When are you planning on doing the bags?
I don't know, what's Christmas this year, on a Thursday or something?
It's on a Wednesday.
So I mean, we'll probably do it like the Monday before or something like that.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Police department, activity report, information's in your packet. Any questions?
Looks like October was a pretty busy month.
And the fun never stops.
Good question. What constitutes a strong arm robbery?
A weapon of some type versus just a robbery. Strong arm, some type of weapon. Could be a claw hammer, could be a bazooka.
We had one of those?
Even the threat of saying, puts it into an enhanced penalty into a strong arm.
Thank you.
Emergency management.
Just an incidental report that I received today is a DVD with the whole updated county EMS plan that I will review and give them feedback on anything that relates to Centralia. Probably that it's, at this stage, mostly an update of past plans, so I don't anticipate anything maybe even change phone number occasionally, something like that.
Protective inspection.
Nothing particular to report.
I can say that I reached out to Clifford And we just need to set up a time, the three of us.
Okay.
Wasn't able to get that taken care of for the weekend, so I was hoping maybe on a weekend, it'd be easier for me to be able to, Jim, do you have
Okay.
any druthers?
That's fine, you just let me know, I'm available, I'll be there. Yep.
Just close out a couple things.
Sure.
I don't know for sure when the tractor parade is going to be, we're still trying to find a date, but we've changed that route around. It's just gotten so big, it can't come out of the elevator by the time it back on Jefferson, so this year we'll be turning north out of the elevator. Be going to Switzerland. Westbound on Switzerland, that might allow some folks to watch from the old Ford Chevrolet place. And be making the hard left at DC's. Scream all the way to the old guard office at Allen and Sneed. Then eastbound hard to Jefferson. Eastbound hard to Jefferson and then back north. For those that need to, screen back northbound on Jefferson, go back to the elevator. That thing just got so big, it's just a nightmare. Traffic around, it's just a nightmare. So that's the route. And I think the talk is we have more folks this year. I don't think we're all over. That's that.
Just throwing this out there, chief, for the, we have any trains that usually go by at that time?
I'll tend to, I can't.
Well, I mean, that's,
Stop the train traffic.
right.
Generally during Anchor Fest, those kind of things, people, Jennifer, the Anchor Fest, or I do for other activities, will call up trains and say, just slow down to at least 100.
They're pretty cooperative usually.
Right.
And we'll have to have some folks associated with the parade kind of man up around some of those places.
Thank you.
Gene, did you have a second vote?
Oh, the girls, the state softball girls will be here next at the full council meeting on the 18th, is that the day?
Yeah,
On the 18th, so
okay.
it's always a good time. They could have been here tonight, but speaks well for the school and for the students. That most of them could not be here due to National Honor Society. So,
Outstanding.
yeah, other than that, why? And if there's no other questions, I'm gonna vacate. It's been a particularly long day, and tomorrow will be as well. So, absent any further questions,
Enjoy your evening.
thank
Yep,
you.
thank you, chief.
Moving on to other, Southwest Country Estates Plat 3 Final Plat.
Which should have been a PDF attached to your,
It is.
See you. See you.
Okay.
and you can see how it fits into the overall scheme of things. It's 14 more lots, which can go to the bill in fairly short order because there is a strong demand for houses right now because the inventory of available houses for sale is pretty low by last count, so there's a continuing need for people to build houses, which is a good thing.
Right.
In this case, the P and Z has met, discussed it, recommends that you approve it, subject to everybody signing the plat, and subject to the city receiving a signed agreement accompanied by a letter of credit that would guarantee construction of the sidewalks adjacent to these lots since they don't get built. Along with everything else. So the streets, sewer, storm sewer, water lines are all in, the electric lines will be in fairly soon, with weather permitting. So we will present this for approval by ordinance, and if by some mischance they don't get the letter of credit to me, you just don't have to sign the plat until it comes.
Okay.
The other thing that will happen is at the following month's meeting, after we have the book and page number of this as reported, we'll have a conveyance by the developers of the sewer lines to the city, subject to a 1-year warranty, and we'll accept those for future ownership and maintenance, and that also will be in ordinance, and it will come in December.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
As may rise. On to another subject. City Administrator Succession Plan.
You've been asked about this already, enough. I have some stuff to present to you. Packets with some notes and some information that you should find useful.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Dave's gonna have one too. I'll save you the trouble, guys.
Thank you, sir.
My target date to retire is July 31st, my birthday. Somebody was wondering why we hadn't started this process already. You can start too early and you won't be treated very seriously. First of all, to the best of my knowledge, there are no logical internal candidates for the position. I've talked to the board department heads under me. They like what they're doing. They would prefer to stay it that way.
Okay.
So that means that you will have to go elsewhere to find a replacement. In your packet, you have some items that I will go down the list and discuss for your consideration. 2 possible timelines that will accomplish having somebody on task with adequate preparation time. And then 2 guidelines on how to go about hiring a manager or administrator. Of course, the ones that I have found most useful or interesting and according to what I know about the profession. One is from New Jersey, of all places. It's sort of do as I say, not as I do, I think. The other is from the ICMA. I cut out some of the appendices for right now to save paper, but those are good bedtime reading. There's also a schedule of recent salary levels for all the managers and administrators in Missouri that the municipal league is aware of. Gives you an idea of relative budget size and population size. They're all over the place. But you might use that in formulating what you think pay should be. Bear in mind that we're not a high-cost suburb of St. Louis, Kansas City, but we are a full-services city. So you gotta balance those sort of things off. Almost the first decision you need to make is whether the selection process will be done in-house, staff assistants, and you guys doing it, me doing it mostly, or whether you want to use a search firm to assist in all or part of that. You get a different timeline if you go with the search firm versus you doing it yourself, and that's why there's two separate timelines in there. Search firm, you'll lose time on the front end because you'll have to take a search firm first.
Right.
And then after that, they do work and they don't have to meet quite as often as you do, so that part can be compressed. There are advantages to both ways. Principal advantage is that doing it yourself doesn't cost you $12,000, $15,000 and up for the device. But frequently, the argument is that they bring in candidates that might not otherwise be familiar or interested until approached. So that should be done. I would hope you'd make a decision by the regular board meeting next week to tell me which direction you want to go, and then you can throw one of the timelines out, and I'll start assisting you with the remainder. You can decide in your minds whether you want to focus on managers and administrators and candidates locally, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, or whether you want to go nationwide. Most of the likely places to advertise end up giving nationwide advertising, but you may want to focus your efforts more on local. You should make a decision on whether you want to have a subcommittee of this board to facilitate more frequent meetings, or the full board, or a committee that involves not only members of this board, but citizens from the public, interested citizens, affected citizens, whatever. So you should make that decision, no matter which way you go. I'm here to assist in the process, but if there are any parts of it that you do not want my assistance, just let me,
Step back, right?
well, just let me know.
Okay.
Well, it has implications a little bit farther down.
Okay.
You should fairly quickly get an idea of what salary you're willing to offer. If nothing else, so I can put it in the budget. A few other things will go in the budget with that haven't been for a while. I mean, budget doesn't have health insurance for the manager right now. Makes a difference. Manager, administrator may be married with kids. That's going to be higher than you would have paid for me. There are other fringes and benefits that you might want to have with the new candidate. There are reasons why back when I was first hired and expected to work 3 or 4 years that the budgets don't have the AEBs at the full level that they could for a regular employee, because as a salary employee, if I go on vacation, I just keep betting on the same on checks. It's not that they have to go to a separate kitty of money to fund that, and it's not like my salary comes out of a multitude of different activities. Over the years, and as the accrued amount went up, I've rethought that, and so there will probably be a bump in AEB for whoever's hired, just to account for that. And they'll have to then deduct from that accrual when somebody uses vacation or sick leave. I will tell you that I serve out my term. I'm not going to ask for reimbursement for unused accrued sick leave and vacation time. It's not a problem for me. And I'm not going to try and squeeze out every last day of leave between now and July 31st. That's not reasonable either. Other benefits you would want to consider besides health insurance: some cities offer a city car, use of, owned by the city. I never found that advantageous, because you still got to report it to the IRS and keep logs on your usage. And if you take and drive to Columbia for dinner with your wife and you're in the city car, all you got is people talking. So somebody from a different jurisdiction may like that, they may not.
Okay.
City pays for my membership in the Missouri City Management Association and the CMA. Those, well, just like we do for Larry and the Chiefs of Police Association and stuff like that. That's $200 a year and going up, depending on what your prospect is involved in. Maybe ASPA dues, it's American Society for Public Administration, that sort of thing. So you should budget and prepare for those kind of expenses and or negotiate them out and say you pay for that, but the salary will be X. Retirement contributions in addition to loggers. Loggers is mandatory for our employees, but somebody may request additional amounts in a 401k or 457 plan through ICMA like I have, and you can contribute to that as part of the package, or just say, you go ahead and we'll do the deductions and it's your money, which is what I'm doing. I'm contributing a fairly large amount to a 457 plan, but it's my money after they've deducted Medicare and all that. So it has impacts on the overall package. Nowadays, well, it used to be that spouses were women and they came as teachers or nurses and not a lot of other skills, so they were pretty portable. Nowadays, candidates have spouses that have careers of their own, and you may be asked to help make some sort of help, even if they're a teacher. You may be asked to involve the school superintendent and give them consideration, that sort of thing. And it's impossible to predict. It will depend on who your candidates are.
Right.
But at the university, they call it spousal accommodation, and for people they really want, they find jobs for them in the university system, at least for a limited period of time.
So you're not going to the university after your career? No. Okay. Just check.
In effect, the university is going to cover my health insurance through my wife, but no, I'm not going.
Okay.
They don't have to do anything to track my wife. She's
Right.
there
Right.
already.
Okay.
One thing I do not have, but is not unheard of in Missouri, and that's an employment contract with severance, that sort of thing. Operated without a net for 30 years, the next person may not feel so inclined. It's sort of like dealing with school superintendents. And that's just part of the negotiation you will have to think about. You will have to decide on basically a job profile. What do you want of the administrator besides doing the job duties that are set forth in the code book, many of which can be delegated to other people? Do you want your new person to be skilled with an emphasis in finance, or public works and public utilities, or economic development, or planning and community development, human resources, public safety, military, IT, technology, grantsmanship? I can give you my opinion on those, but you might want to discuss it among yourself beforehand. I mentioned that to somebody and I got all of the above answer. That, for a city this size, depending on who you're getting, may be a tough sell. There are going to be fields of emphasis and on-the-job training of some sort in other portions of that,
Right.
in all likelihood. You're going to need to make decisions on what kind of experience and the minimum amount of experience. You generally put that in the job ad. Something such as 2 years as administrator or assistant administrator, or 5 years as a department head in a larger city, or, you know, whatever, you need to give that consideration. And at some point, when we're developing the job description, I can give you some examples of how ads are put together, and or profiles done by a headhunting firm. I have examples of both that I can give to you at the right time. You might want to decide that you're open to anybody with good credentials and experience, or you might want to say we will not look at anybody unless they have a bachelor's degree or a master's of public administration or commensurate degree, or trade off 5 years or 10 years with experience in lieu of the degree. That will tend to weed out the local citizens who say, oh, I can do that job. I've managed a service station and I think I can do good for the city. Doesn't happen very often. Not impossible, but I mean, that's something that limits the field of candidates, and you should be cautious about that. Particularly depending on what kind of emphasis you want to put on things. You might want to plan on the degree of overlap in those timelines I've presented to you. There's about a month overlap. Somebody who has never been in a CEO position before but has good credentials, we may want to try for more and just the timeline accordingly, but you won't know until fairly late in the process about that. Somebody with manager experience elsewhere, particularly in Missouri, of a couple of years, may not want any overlap. They say, well, if you're available to answer questions, I can hit the ground running. Whether you go with the headhunter or on your own, you look at the applicants, you will winnow them down to at least just those you feel are qualified on the basics, meet the advertised qualifications. Might want to whittle it down to 5 or 6. In this day and age, even at the university, they're finding it advantageous to not have to bring in people, do a first interview with Skype. You get to view them and test their answers on the questions you might want to ask, but you don't have to pay for travel. That is another consideration. If you go with a headhunter, and frankly, if you go with generally accepted practice in Missouri, the finalists you bring in, you should pay for their lodging and travel expenses. You may or may not do the same for their spouse. Nowadays, you're hiring a package, not just the administrator, but a family comes with that administrator. I will say that the timelines put out have one semi-disadvantage or advantage, depending on how you want to look at it, and additional advantages. July 31st happens to fall after the budget's done, audit's done. Nobody has to come in cold and write an audit management letter of analysis. The tax rate should be calculated and a hearing set before August 1. I believe that there will be money in the budget for street overlays and remodeling the city hall. Those should probably be well underway, not let and approved by board before July 31st. So somebody's not going to be starting exactly from scratch. Some heavy lifting will be done, and they will be able to examine the results and process with notes that I'm leaving or their own experience to be able to move forward from there. Now, many of these questions are, if you hire a headhunter, first thing they're going to do is come in and ask you exactly the same questions to develop their profile, to put out a promotional brochure in the city to show to candidates. One of the things that, by the time we put the ad out, I will be working with Heather to make sure that our website is clean. I can't imagine anybody in this day and age looking at the city and making an application without looking at the website,
Right.
maybe examining a few of the past council and committee meetings, since they're available. Reading papers, since the guard online, probably going back and reviewing archival copies of newspapers, that sort of thing, to become acclimated. Right now, I think that's all I have to put forward. Much of this stuff is in the text of the New Jersey and ICMA information. And we can discuss it again as part of next week's agenda.
And it sounds like fairly quickly we need to decide headhunter versus.
Yeah, that would be the first decision.
Yeah.
Then some of the others can be done over the next couple of weeks after that, either in discussions among yourselves or with the headhunter.
Okay. Does the Missouri Municipal League have something similar to this?
No, but they do have a website that is a good advertising place.
Okay.
Frankly, if you advertise on the ICMA newsletter, which is now electronic, and so you can get an ad in very quickly
Okay.
and keep it there for a long time. In the old days, it was a bi-weekly newsletter, and it took a while to get things on hand. You were limited in space, where now it's a list, and you can have your whole ad, so to speak, or profile as a link
Okay.
on their newsletter, which comes out once a week.
Okay.
And it'll extend there as long as you need it to. And it's free. Since I'm a member, it's free. Same with MML. Those are the two you really are going to get to most value at. You should put an ad in the paper as a courtesy to the citizens. I would think that an ad in the St. Louis or Kansas City papers is very expensive and will not yield anything. We have done that for the chief of police position with variable results.
Right. Okay.
Thank you, Lynn.
So just 3 places probably will get you as many qualified applicants as you're going to get, short of having a headhunter out there knocking on doors of people who they think might be interested but haven't been actively looking for a job for some reason.
Right. All right.
So are you recessing until tomorrow? I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Next.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
What time's tomorrow's meeting?
7 o'clock.